Hello guys, Sporty McSportington here, and today we're going to be talking about a football match between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Las Vegas Raiders that took place last week. And while those men were out there on the field scoring goals and hitting home runs or whatever it is they do, we're taking our action to off the field, where a little boy, and I mean literal little boy, is now being accused of blackface and cultural appropriation. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into this video, if you'd like to support the work I'm doing on this channel, I have a Patreon. The link is in the description down below. Consider signing up if you want, no pressure. Now, you know me, I don't really talk about sports often on this channel because I will be the first to admit that I do not know anything about sports. Today, we're going to be talking about a young Kansas City Chiefs fan who managed to get accused of blackface and cultural appropriation all in the same day, just by sitting in the stands. So you all know what happens at these football games. The fans dress up, they put on the colors of their favorite team, and they scream and shout for the people that they want to win. And while the cameras mostly stay on the players on the field, this time the cameras panned over to the audience, and this picture was captured of a young fan of the Kansas City Chiefs. Now you'll notice that this young fan has a black face, as it's been painted black to support the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's also wearing a Native American headdress. We'll get to the headdress in just a bit. Let's focus on the face. Now, a journalist, if we can even call him that, by the name of Karen J. Phillips of Deadspin, decided to take on this picture and write an entire article about how disrespectful it is for a young fan to be wearing blackface at a football game. Now, the article is titled, "The NFL Needs to Speak Out Against the Kansas City Chiefs Fan in Blackface, Native American Headdress." Now, when you get into the article, the first paragraph says it takes a lot to disrespect two groups of people at once, but on Sunday afternoon in Las Vegas, a Kansas City Chiefs fan found a way to hate black people and the Native Americans at the same time. And this picture began circulating all over the internet, and people were outraged, saying, how dare someone like this wear blackface to a football game? How dare his parents allow him to do this? But there is more to the story, as is almost always the case. Shortly thereafter, another photo of this young fan began to circulate on the internet, and it tells a completely different story. You'll see in this photo that the young boy has a black side of his face and a red side of his face. Why might that be? It might be because those are the colors of the Kansas City Chiefs. Any reasonable person would see these colors on his face and think that this is somewhat innocuous. He's just a young boy that wanted to support his football team. But instead, somebody chose to take a picture that quite literally only tells half of the story as a means to accuse a little boy of blackface and racism on the internet. So of course, as both of these pictures are circulating simultaneously on the internet, people are coming to the defense of this little boy who should have never been used for this purpose in the first place. They started coming for the journalist, saying, how dare you make an accusation like this, knowing that the fan was just wearing the Kansas City Chiefs colors. But the journalist decided to double down on his comments. He wrote on X, quote, "For the idiots in my mentions who are treating this as some harmless act because the other side of his face was painted red, I can make the argument that it makes it even worse. Y'all are the ones who hate Mexicans but wear sombreros on Cinco de Mayo," end quote. How does that make sense? Please, anybody who understands what was said in that tweet or why wearing black and red on your face is wrong, please let me know in the comments down below, because I am quite literally dumbfounded by this. And you know, I think I know what's happening here. Nobody wants to take accountability for their actions. Nobody wants to apologize for something that they've done wrong. So instead of printing a retraction or going and apologizing to this little boy whose life he tried to ruin, this journalist decides to double down. And what's even worse is that he wasn't wrong once. He was wrong twice. Remember, the article talks about disrespecting two different groups of people at the same time. And where that child wasn't wearing blackface, he's also not disrespecting Native American tribes. If you look at this photo, of course, he's wearing the headdress, and there's lots of controversy over this virtually worldwide. If you wear a Native American headdress, you are accused of cultural appropriation. You are taking on a culture's tradition that has a deep value. It means something to the Native American people. How dare you wear a headdress and trivialize something that is so important to him? Well, it turns out that this young Kansas City Chiefs fan is actually a Native American himself. This young man happens to be a member of the Chumash tribe, and guess what? His dad is even on the board of the tribe itself. So I think it's okay that the young man decided to wear a Native American headdress to the Chiefs game. And even if he wasn't Native American, it would still be okay. And it's so hilarious because when we talk about these stories of cultural appropriation, so often it is people who are not even from the culture that they are are talking about getting upset. And that is exactly the case with this whole article that was published about this kid. This dude isn't Native American, but he's getting upset on behalf of Native Americans. And he didn't even take the time to look into this kid's background to see if he was a Native himself. He just made the assumption, as people so often do. And you know in his earlier tweet how he says it's offensive to wear a sombrero on Cinco de Mayo? I'm wondering, how is that offensive? Clearly, it is somebody choosing to participate in a culture that they appreciate. Why would you wear something on your head or on your body or rep something that you did not have respect for? In my opinion, it is all about intent. And this young boy didn't wear a Native American headdress to make fun of Native Americans, to mock them, to look down on their culture. He wore it because it's a part of his own background and he appreciates it. And he wanted to go to a Chiefs game and look like a chief. At the end of the day, intent is crucial when looking at these matters, and it was by no means his intent to offend anybody. It wasn't his intent to mock Black people or Native Americans or whatever group of people that this journalist is insinuating he offended by painting half of his face red. It seems like he was just a little child trying to have fun at a football game. And it's important to ask this question: what kind of person do you have to be to go after a little boy to make an argument like this? To use his photograph to plaster his face all over the internet so that people can hurl outrage towards him. Imagine we didn't have the other pictures, or this story was never cleared up, and this Black journalist ruined the life of a little Native American boy. This is just such a blatant misuse of somebody's platform, and we talk about journalistic integrity when it comes to writing stories. There is none to be found here, and for him to continue to double down on his statements absolutely blows my mind. But that's the world we're living in these days, where people are so sensitive that they get upset about a painted face and a Native American headdress, even though we have far bigger issues to worry about. I hope that in the near future, this kid gets a huge apology. And if there's any legal action that he could take against Deadspin and this journalist in particular, he should absolutely do that. This should not be okay. This should not be something that you are able to do. And hopefully this doesn't go on to impact this kid's life any more than it already has. We need to be less sensitive. We need to stop fueling outrage like this, and we all around need to do better. But those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know how you feel about this story. And as always, if you disagree with me, duke it out, but do so respectfully. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every single day. And if you made it to the end of this video, comment a little feather emoji in the comments down below. Maybe soon we'll have enough to make a headdress.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.